Tailwind CSS is perhaps as popular as NextJS itself. So while it's not something that you need to know in order to use NextJS, it's very likely that the real world projects that you will be working on will use Tailwind. To understand how Tailwind integrates with NextJS, we will simply create a new NextJS project using create next app, which is something that we are already familiar with. And the key thing to remember over here is that when it asks us, would you like to use Tailwind CSS? We are going to say yes. And for the rest of the options, we will just use the defaults. During the installation process, you can see that there are two new packages that are being installed as dev dependencies. One is PostCSS. Tailwind CSS actually works by using PostCSS. And then of course the Tailwind CSS package. Once the project install is complete, let's open it up within our IDE and discuss its key configuration points. The first file we will look at is package.json, and as we've mentioned, it now contains two additional dev dependencies. One is PostCSS, and this is what Tailwind uses internally to generate its CSS, and then we have the Tailwind CSS package. Then we have the postcss.config module JavaScript, and this is something that NextJS will pick up automatically and our core entry point for configuring Tailwind. Right now, all it's doing is adding the Tailwind CSS plugin into the PostCSS workflow. Then we have the configuration file for Tailwind itself, which is tailwind.config.ts. And the key thing to note over here is the content property, and it's been configured to pick up any source file that might be present in the src directory. Finally, our globals.css file has been modified, and it contains @tailwind directives to include a few key things. Tailwind uses these directives to generate the CSS that NextJS will publish as a part of our global CSS.